Hi, folks. You're with Tacitus today at your Pushback channel, and thank you for joining this radio live stream. In this essay, I'd like to talk about lower paid job applications. So we're talking, say, the average wage up to maybe 20% above the average wage, sort of in that type of range, or maybe even lower than the average wage. In fact, I suspect it would be. So, a relative is visiting, and she's, about 40, about to turn 40. So, the experiences that she was talking about, I thought, I can't believe that. Is that when you want to apply for a job now, it doesn't have to be a big multinational company or anything. When you want to apply for a job, what she said was, and I confirm this as being true later, but what she said was, you can't actually apply for a job. You have to register as a job applicant first with a registration process, and only then are you permitted to apply for a job. This is a job that's publicly advertised and in the public domain. Now, just doing my own investigations to confirm, because I was like, what? You've got to be kidding. That's outrageous. Now, the terms and conditions that they put on you, and I don't believe they're legal, that you don't have to you don't have to register as a job applicant, but if you don't, that means you can't apply for the job. But if you do register, you do so voluntarily. No one's making you do it. Now, that's just absurd. You can't withhold something that is publicly advertised. You can't withhold something from somebody and then say that if they tick some box on a form or whatever, that they've willingly agreed, that they've been coerced into it. Or now the other argument is, well, you don't have to apply for that job. Go and apply for another one. But it seems like it's pretty much everywhere now, and I was unaware of this. You don't sort of see it really in the executive level, if at all. Or maybe it is there. I don't know. It's been a while since I was running around knocking on doors for this. But the thing about that concerned me was the legality of it. Now, it's not dissimilar to say how the big tech companies say, well, if you want to buy our software, you have to register first, and only then can you place an order for the software, for example, or other services. It doesn't have to be software. It can be other services. Now, if I'm confronted with that, I tend to think, well, no, it's my choice to register and give whatever details I'm prepared to give, and that's how it is. And this idea of refusing service unless you're registered, and I think this will be part of a wider social credit system over time, by the way. But I don't accept that at all. But it seems to be, and I had no idea it's widespread. It seems to be most people are forced to do it. You just can't apply for jobs if you're not prepared to register. Now, let's have a look at the registration process. Registration process wants to know a lot of things. Now, remember, this is just to apply. You haven't had an interview yet, or you haven't got the job or been offered it or anything like that. This is just to apply and nothing more. And they want to know, and she said this, and I thought that's very intrusive. Why would they want to know that? Why would they want to know personal details about you? Why would they want, how many phone numbers do you have? List them all. What is your private residence address? Now, remember, this is just to apply. This is not that you've got the job and they need your details, which is quite reasonable, by the way. You get the job, you supply your details, where you live, and I know, totally get that. But this is just to apply, and without any guarantee that you get the job at all. So this registration process again asks a lot of what I believe are personal questions, utterly irrelevant for someone who's just applying. That they do apply if you get the job or something like that, sure, but otherwise not so. Now, they may want to things like, what area of the city do you live in? That sort of stuff, and I get that. but the idea that there's the street address and other private information, I think that, in my view at least, that's an outrage. But she said, well, that's kind of how it is. The other thing is with COVID vaccinations now. You'd be hard pressed to find anywhere where they're compulsory these days, but for some of the larger multinationals that want to do it, because it's a sign of compliance to the globalist project. And if anything, that's what multinationals and some of the bigger firms want these days. So this you have to have all your vaccinations and all your boosters and that sort of stuff. But instead of saying that you have to have it, or that it's a requirement, because legally it's not, they again use the thing, well, you can't come for an interview unless you are quadruple vaccinated and quadruple boosted, or whatever the thing is today. And you can demonstrate, bring all the documents and show it. So if you haven't got that, you can't come to the interview. But no one's forcing you to come to the interview. Therefore, no one's forcing you to get all the vaccinations. That's the very, very sort of loose argument. I don't think it would stand up in court for 5 seconds. And I don't know why there aren't massive lawsuits being around. But instead, small people, they don't have money. They're not rich. They can't afford lawyers, and they don't understand a lot of that stuff anyway. So it's easier to just go and get these injections and boosters and so on, and that just gets everyone off their back, and then no one's giving them moral lectures and so on. But it's the subterfuge and the deception that's used to gain compliance there. So I don't know. I think this is ripe for vast legal challenges. I think it's ripe for class action challenges. This idea of that she's forced to register as an applicant before she can even apply for the job, that in my cognizance at least, is bullshit. But that seems to be how it is, or certainly based on what she. And again, I've confirmed it. I've actually gone onto the websites that she mentioned and had, and it's there's every word she said was true. I just was unaware that it was happening, and this was going on, and people are being forced. Now, to me, the dangerous thing is that these companies, because they use it like a back end sort of software management firm to do the form filling out and so on, that if you read through the details, they claim they have the right to share your information with any third party that they deem they can share it with. So let's suppose it's, for example, XYZ, and they call it like talent management or something like that, XYZ software that is used as the portal, the front end to register. But that software is widely used. And you go to apply for a job at such and such company, they then can say, well, Billy Bob's actually been worked in these places, has had 10 interviews or this or that, or applied for 1 million jobs, or and so on. And they can put all that together and give a report to a would-be employer. So Billy Bob has no idea that suddenly, or Billy Jean's got no idea that they've been quietly disregarded based on what is secret or private information that is secretly shared with a third party without your knowledge or consent. And that to me is absolutely monstrous. And again, I think it's like the tip of the iceberg for social credit and so on. But it was concerning now. She got the job she applied for. I mean, it's academic in many ways, but the issue is that all these things are happening in the background without your knowledge, without your consent, and you're forced to do it just to lead your life. This argument, well, you don't have to apply for the job. You don't have to work if you don't want to. No. You have to work and you have to apply for jobs and that sort of thing. So the idea that you can put up barriers and catch points or choke points that people have to pass through. Then once that information is gathered, it then can be shared in multiple different directions without her knowledge or consent, or anyone's knowledge or consent. That in my view is outrageously unacceptable and should be legally challenged. You've been with Tacitus today, your Pushback channel, and thank you for listening.